Okay then, so this is going to be my first attempt at a live stream build and tune. So I'm just going to basically, well, I'm not going to pick the car because I've already got the car. The car we're going to use is the one we have on screen. We'll just have a quick look at it. Just move the mic so I don't distort and you can hear me better. So the car we're going to use is one from the latest track pack. We're going to go with the Ford Mustang GT Coupe. I'm not too sure which class I'm going to put it in yet. Probably B or A. Get something a little bit of power in there because it does weigh fairly light anyway at £2,562. So yeah, I'm going to try and get into B or A class. The handling isn't great for a stock car anyway. Other muscle cars that start off in D class are around 3.5 and there's some at 3.7. So we might have to do something to improve the handling quite a bit on it. But yeah, so let's have a look at the upgrade parts. So then, what we'll do is we'll add the parts that I'm definitely going to add anyway, and then we'll see where we're at. So we'll start with the brakes and we'll do the platform and handling. So regardless of which class it's in, these are the parts that I'm going to install anyway. So we'll just go through them one by one, and then hopefully we'll see what PI we're at, and then once we've looked at tyres, we can see how much we've got left for engine upgrades, and that will kind of dictate what sort of class we put it in, what sort of class I want to run it in. So now with the roll cage, one thing to look at is you can see as you increase this, handling goes up by 1, launch by 2, and braking by 1 as well. And then move it to the next one, and then in the launch and braking goes up, and move it that one, and then finally the handling goes up. But you can see that it does add over 2649 over £100 of weight as well. So this is going to be quite interesting on which one of these we choose. So because we want to try and get the handling up as high as we can, we'll go with the that one. It does add the most weight, but at the moment the car is 2649, and we're going to do the weight reduction in a minute anyway. So we'll add that. So that extra bit of weight, but it also gives us better handling. And then hopefully once we add the weight reduction as well, that should increase the handling even more and also drop the weight. So we're down at 2.2, so possibly not as low as it would have been. But when it comes to tuning, we can always account for that. So 2264 weight wise isn't too bad. It's fairly low for a muscle car. I'm just hoping it's going to have enough grip at the end of it. So clutch, I'm not going to do anything with the clutch because I use manual clutch anyway. Transmission. Now this is, I know old muscle cars that tend to only have 4 gears, and it's a bit of an issue sometimes, so I'm just going to go ahead and increase and add the race transmission anyway. We can always come back and take it off if we need to. Driver line I'm going to leave for now. Differential, as it doesn't do anything to the PI and it's always beneficial to have it, we'll add that on. Work our way through. Aero, race rear wing, we'll put that on. And now the bumpers, so we'll get rid of the chrome bit, I think. Take a bit of weight off it. And the bonnet as well. I was getting invited for a party. Unfortunately, mate, I'm doing a live stream. I'd love to join you, but give me 2 seconds. Give me a little while. Street bonnet. Now with the street bonnet, the main issue I have with this, as cool as that does look with a big bonnet scoop, I drive in car, and that bonnet scoop does cover a big part of the track. So what I'm probably going to do is go with the stock bonnet, and not. Although it does reduce the weight a little bit, so I'll come back and have a look at that later on. But at the moment, I'm going to leave that stock. Right then, so now tyres. So we'll look at the tyre compound first. So if we put race tyres on to C470, so we may even be able to get a fair bit of power out of this and keep race tyres on. So at the moment, it's going to look like it's going to be B class, because it doesn't put us high up in the rankings anyway. So we're going to go ahead and add the race tyres on this. And then what we'll do is just boost this up as well, because we can always take this away if we need to, but I just want to make sure I've got enough grip initially. And because it always seems worse when you have to take power away to add extra grip, it kind of feels like you're stripping the soul out of the car. So it's a lot easier for me to take grip away, and then we can add power to it later, and it always seems like you're benefiting both ways because you add too much grip anyway. and you just get extra power as well. So if I do it this way, it feels like I'm gaining both sides. So rim styles and rim sizes I'm going to leave for the moment, and now we get to play about with the fun stuff. So we've got engine swaps, drivetrain and aspiration. Well, I'm going to leave it rear wheel drive, and we'll have a look at what engines we can switch over. So we've got that one, which adds a bit more torque, a bit more weight and a bit more power. And we've got that one, which has a lot more power, a lot more torque and a lot more weight. And then that one, which sticks into silly class category 710. Yeah, I'm not going to go that high, although it would be nice to have an extra 500 odd horsepower. And that might be actually a car for maxed out racing, because that with four-wheel drive, that could be quite interesting. But anyway, getting distracted, that's for the future. So I'm going to look at if I put that engine in, let's see what upgrades we've got aspiration wise. So we haven't got the supercharger I wanted. I do prefer the supercharger because the cars seem to come out a lot better once we put the supercharger in. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that weight in, that engine in. So it does us not a great deal of weight, to be honest. We don't get a great deal of power and torque out of it, but we're going to go with that one. 26,000 credits. Right, and now let's see if we can get the supercharger we want. We can. So it gives us 386, 389 and 23. So we're going to go ahead and add that, and it puts us up to 568 PI. So we've still got a little bit to play with as well. So I thought I'd do this live anyway, so you guys could see and join in with me building and tuning the car on the on the fly, rather than me just posting the settings, and you might be able to learn a little bit from this as well, hopefully. So engine wise, right then we'll have a look at the supercharger first, see what we can upgrade on that. So we can only put the first one on, so 386 to 426, and it does give us a fair bit more torque. Let's look at the cams. The cam seems to add power but not so much torque, and it makes it a bit easier on rear wheel drive cars, but we can't add any of that anyway. So that is out of the question. I'm just going to flick over to YouTube quickly. I am streaming on a live stream thing on, just so anybody who jumps on my channel can hop in and have a look as well. Let's make that public. Save and share. Hopefully I might get a few more people in the lobby channel. I've got one watcher at the moment. Hello, whoever you are, feel free to say hi. And that should be live on my YouTube page now, hopefully. Let's have a look. Yep, that's good to go. Right then, so where were we? So with cams, we couldn't do cams. So that's out of the question. Exhaust, I do want to do the exhaust because it does sound a lot better. And we lose weight, so that's 404, 408. Took us to, what did it take us to? 426, 423. Right then. So I'm going to try it first without upgrading the supercharger. I'm going to try adding the exhaust because we get power and we get a bit of weight reduction as well. So what can we get for 10 PI? Not that one. Them ones. What should we try next? We'll try those. Can we? 7. So I think we may be able to add that. And I think we may be able to add the air filter as well. We can indeed. So there we are. B600 fully set up, ready to go. And one thing we can do is we may be able to add the drive line. Sometimes you can add the bits of drive line on. So like that one, we can add it on. We lose a little bit of weight. It's only £2 we lose, but it's better to lose it than to carry it round on track. So that's that done. Wheel wise, can we do anything with the wheels? Let's have a look. Sometimes there's some of these 600 now, so we can change them to a new style and allow us to upgrade the rim size if you want to later on. Just trying to find a style. That's probably the best one so far. Trying to find a style that actually fits in with the car and isn't too bling. Is there going to be anything? Another one there. I'm going to go with them ones. And we actually lose £1 as well. So that's even better. Right then, so that's the car built. and we'll take it out for a test drive and see how it handles. Right, and so testing wise, now one of the tracks I seem to like for testing, and it seems to work out for the initial testing, is Silverstone. Might be a track you love, might be a track you hate. But testing wise, I find it's got quite a lot of different types of corners, and you can get a good base setup with the car using this. So we're going to go ahead and run that. We haven't done anything tuning wise at the moment, we just simply built it up. And we're going to get a few test laps and just see how it handles. Hopefully my batteries won't die on my controller, and hopefully my batteries won't die on my headset, which I've been doing quite a lot lately. If the batteries are fucked, or if they're just not going to charge. So let's see how the car sounds first with the exhaust on. Sound quite nice, I do like that. So this is with the bass tune on. No changes whatsoever. Oh, we've got a bit of understeer in the middle. Good points and bad points. Bad points is it does understeer like a pig in the corners, and I always seem to over-rev muscle cars. A tendency of high revving, I like high revving cars, we can get to like 7, 8, 9,000 revs, and I do keep forgetting that when I'm past the red line with these cars, they probably not get as much power out and torque out as they could be. So understeer is making the car a little bit unsettled in the corners. I'll give another lap, or a bit of lap after this one to see if the tyres have heated up anymore, see if that makes any difference. Gearing doesn't seem to be the best. I don't think this is going to be a beast in a straight line, but hopefully we can get it to make up for it in the corners. Look at the brakes there. So main things I'm looking for are turning, middle of the corner, this is about here, and then exit of the corner. Yeah, the car's becoming very, it's not very nice in the middle of the corner at all. So yeah, turn in, middle of the corner, turn out, and obviously just noting braking points and stuff like that, and just get a general feel for how responsive the car is. I haven't looked at the tune for this yet, so I have no idea what the base settings are, but we'll have a look and see what we can do to rectify it afterwards. But it does sound like a beauty. It sounds absolutely sounds like a race car. Just a bit more volume on the engine. Just switch it over to the better view from smart car. It does sound sweet. Right then, so let's have a look and let's investigate the stock tune. Right, tyres at 30, we're going to know that. Gears, we may need to shorten them a little bit to get a bit more acceleration, and I don't think we're ever going to get to the end of 6th gear in a month of Sundays. So well, that's as pretty much as expected. Not a lot of rear camber or nothing at all. Anti-roll bars, we've got a lot on the front, which is probably contributing to that understeer. Skid row head, it is the Ford Mustang from the latest car pack, on Forza 5. So it's the old Ford Mustang. Springs, fairly soft, damping, aero. Right, we'll bump the aero up as stock anyway, because we can always take it away. It's a nice baby blue colour. It's the best one I could find on the stock paints, and there aren't a great deal of paints that are out for it yet at the moment, or no decent ones I could find. Right then, so let's have a look. So we'll apply that, and we'll go back in, put up the telemetry. And we're going to have a look first at tyre pressures. So we'll see what we're running at as we round. Let's give it a try and give it at least a couple of fast corners, half a lap or so, to try and get the tyre heat up and then the pressures accordingly. Oh, the game is, I'm not too sure. I know in the UK it's around £50. I'm not too sure what that is in dollars or any other currency conversion, but yeah, it's about £50, £45 I think. I don't think the prices have dropped at the moment, Skirad. So I don't know how much that is in your part of the world. Okay, so we're at 35.8 front and 35.6 rear, so pretty much the same. And we want to get them down to around 32 degrees, so we're going to take off 3.5 off the rear and 3.5 off the front. So let's go back into tune setup. Take 3.5 off the front. Oh, there you go, and 3.5 off the rear. And then hopefully as we drive round, we'll be able to see those tyre pressures. I lost the back end coming down slightly, so you can see them coming down straight away. And hopefully they should level off at around 32 psi. Just check if we need to another low bit, half a psi or not. But no, the fronts seem to be lowering nicely, along with the rears. Always find that 32 psi works quite well. Yeah, £50, 50 Great British pounds in the UK. When it was, when I bought it anyway. I'm not too sure if it's been dropped down in price now. You probably get pre-owned copies as well, so it might be a little bit cheaper. So you can see the tyre pressures have actually dropped down below 32. So we could do with actually bumping them up another half a psi. And we'll try that, and let's see if they go back up again. Climbing slightly. Hopefully they won't climb much higher than that. And actually, just by changing the tyre pressures and the downforce, the car actually feels quite a lot better. Saying that, I get a bit of understeer on the exit of the turn. Seem to have got the tyre pressures where we want them. That downforce is definitely helping as well. So next thing we can look at, next thing we can see is, should we do next camber? We'll do camber. No, we won't. We shall do suspension. So if some of you saw my tuning off suspension. Some of you saw my suspension guide that you can tune, how to tune them using the offsets and everything. You can do it that way, or what I usually do is I'll just tune for feel as well. So I've got two ways of doing it. If I've got a bit more time, I'll probably go with tuning the offsets, but for this we're going to go with tuning for feel. So the car doesn't weigh a great deal. I think it's £2,200. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stiffen the suspension up a bit, because what I find with the springs is the lighter the car seems to respond better to stiffer springs, and the heavier car obviously softer springs, because it's got a lot of weight that transfers to the ground anyway. So we're going to try and leave the difference between the rear and front exactly the same, and we'll drop that down, not quite all the way. So hopefully that's just made the car a little bit more responsive. And anti-roll bars, we're going to leave them, and we'll see what difference the springs has made. Maybe next time we're going to sort the gears out as well. Gears and the anti-roll bars. Still getting that understeer, which is then causing issues on the outside of the corner. So Next thing we'll do, we'll actually sort the anti-roll bars out. So we're going to try and reduce, and we're going to actually boost these up just a little bit, just to make it a little bit stiffer. And we'll bring that up a little bit as well. What we're trying to do is cut the difference down between the front anti-roll bars and the rear anti-roll bars. Hopefully remove some of that understeer. And then we'll give it a run on a few corners. We can get rid of the telemetry now because we don't need that. Hello to everybody watching as well. I hope you're all enjoying it. Trying my best to make sense. I just feel a lot more responsive in the corners anyway. I'll stop revving it into the red line. Still got that understeer, Right. So, next thing we're going to look at is we shall have a look at the damping. So turning wise, it doesn't seem too bad. It could be a little touch better. So we're going to increase that slightly just to make it a little bit more responsive again, and then we'll reduce the difference between the front and the rear to maybe 2 points, and then we're going to drop that down a little bit as well to around about there. We'll see how that gets us going. Still getting a bit of understeer in the corners. It's not completely how I'd like it. Then we're getting a little bit of oversteer. So, to aid with the turning, what we're going to actually do is we're going to boost the torque by 1, and then for stability we're going to put that down by 1 as well. So 0.1 for the front and negative 0.1 for the rear. And then we'll have a look at camber as well. Now I found with Forza 5, higher the camber the better. Also not higher the camber the better, but I always find that around 2.2 and around 1.9 kind of works as a base setting for rear wheel drive cars. But we'll see how it works out on this one. Trying to do, or trying to remember to do for a while. Gearing. Right, first gear. Now this might sound simple, but what I always try and do is first gear, put it on the third line. Start the third line, generally, as a bass tune, works out quite well. And then what I used to do to start off with is just generally space the gears out so they're even space apart. Making sure that the bottom of that line that's moving doesn't go below the bottom of the previous line. You want to start it up about halfway. First gear on this might be a bit long, but we'll give it a whirl. Hopefully we won't be in first gear very often, and that shortens 6 down as well. So I'm expecting the car to rev quite a lot when we come out of this. Quick gear changing. Handle as good as I wanted to. have a look, and we will reduce that a little bit, try and reduce some of the understeer. And springs wise, we'll just bump that up a little bit, try and counteract that bit of anti-roll bar we've took off. Damping, I'm happy with damping, turns in okay, rear end's okay. We'll drop the rear down a little bit more on the bump. Braking, put that at the back, and we'll leave that at 100. The pressure seems okay. Differential, so with this on rear differentials, decreasing the deceleration setting can reduce lift off throttle oversteer, so that's when you come off the throttle, but I'm going to actually increase that a little bit. I feel like it could do with a little bit more lift off oversteer, and we'll just increase that a bit as well, so it doesn't kick in. Anything else we want to quickly look at? Front caster, we'll increase it up to around 5.8 just for stability and for their front and rear cambers. And I think gearing wise it feels okay. Give it another run. Hello to everyone watching. And hopefully once we get this sorted, or at least 90% sorted, I'll take it in the public hoppers, and we'll see what damage we can do with it, if any at all. I think what I might do is actually more soften the suspension up a bit. I'm going to soften the suspension up just to make it hold itself a little bit better. And also it's going to be a bit of oversteer on that corner as well, in the middle of that corner. So I'm going to try and let's try these a little bit lower. This is what it handles like with softer springs. Just bump that up a little bit. Try and get rid of that touch of oversteer in the middle of the corner. I do wish I was able to put the cams in this. It would have been pretty sweet. I could rev it a little bit higher. Out on that corner. To go now and again as you're coming out of the corners. And so back onto the tune setup. There's a lot of tinkering with this one. So damping, we're going to increase the front slightly. Just reduce the rear a touch. Just increase the front on that slightly as well. Let's see how this goes now. So for bass tune it's not too bad. Probably not going to be ideal, it's not perfect. I don't think this car is going to be a leadable car in any shape or form. Interesting to see how it does in the hoppers, which we'll have a look at in a little while. We'll see how we get on with it. Doesn't feel too bad at all now. It's a lot better than it did when we first drove it. seems that by softening the suspension up, it did actually make it a little bit better. That's why it's always good, just if you're not too sure and you're not entirely happy with whatever you with one part of the tuning, just feel free to locking the wheels a bit there. Just feel free to change it completely, and if you want to go from one extreme to the other, that's probably the best way to learn how to tune and to get good responses in your car, because if it doesn't work, you can always put it back and you haven't lost anything. But sometimes you'll change something a little bit and it'll work out quite nicely for you. Doesn't feel too bad at all. I think what I might do is just add a touch more front spring, drop the rear down a little bit. Damping wise, I'm quite happy with that. Aero, I'm alright. Braking, no, it's not too bad. And that, drop that down a little bit. Anti-roll bars, so we're on 29 and 28. It's just bumped up a little touch, just a little bit. I might actually do is try dropping the front anti-roll bar lower in the rear and just see what effect it has on the car. Just to note what the difference. Oh, we'll do that now actually. So we'll go 29.23 and we'll take it to 28.23. So let's see what difference that makes. See how it handles around there. It's going to actually get a bit of a slide around that corner. As planted as I was going to, as I hoped it would be. Let's have a look. It does feel a little bit sluggish when you're turning in. So what we'll try and do is sort of rebound out a little bit. About with this a little bit. We'll boost it up. Let's go up to 10. Let's just try it, see what it's like. And leave the bump as it is because that didn't feel too bad. So about rough there, so we're just guessing. We're guessing, we're taking their best guess estimate. On this, I'm going to put that back where it was. It felt better when it was up there before. So 5.8, and we'll take one off that, move that to 5.7, get rid of some of the touch of stability to help with the turning. So we'll reduce that down a touch. Let's take it down to 73, see how that works out. Just drop that down to 76. Let's see how we're going on. So turning feels a lot better straight away in that first corner. I'm getting the gas fairly early. Revving it into the red line again. last few changes we made made the car feel a lot better. So we didn't want to be in first gear around that corner. And it actually feels good around there. Right, so at the moment I'm actually quite happy with that tune, but we're not finished yet. Like I said, Silverstone is just like the base tune track that I use. Just get a basic build and tune and just test that out. Build wise, I'm quite happy with it. I don't feel that we've got too much grip. Because it was probably could do with some more power, to be honest. But what I might actually do is just drop the tyre width down a couple. Just to about there. We'll drop these down. We'll get a little bit more heat into the tyres, and hopefully the party chat invite. So that gives us another 13 PI, so we can actually get a little bit more power. So this is where we can go back to it now. So where we had, did we install that? I can't remember. No, we didn't install the supercharger. So what we can do is we can take the exhaust off. And the air filter, was it? And let's take the valves off. So it should be without any engine upgrades apart from the conversion. So what can we do with that? So now we can get the third one on where we couldn't get the third one on before. So we're going to actually try it with that. And then we're 1 PI short, as we nearly always are. Let's put the extra drivetrain on just to get us up to 600. Could change the wheels again if you wanted to, but... and then we'll have a look and see how that... changing just the build alone makes the car feel differently, because sometimes you can change the build and the car will feel completely different on track. I've done that many times. I've left the tune on and then just changed the build, and it's kind of all fell into place. Come on, Forza, load up. That sounds quite nice. See what taking the tyres off has, or taking some of the width off has made any difference. Tyres still going to be cold, so we won't pay too much attention at the moment. There's a little bit more sliding. Like I said, the tyres are still cold, so we'll give it a lap before we make any harsh judgments. Seem to have warmed up. So no, it hasn't. Whoa, into the wall. No. Oh, I saved it. No, that hasn't worked at all. So we're going to go out of this and we're going to stick with the original build because that seemed to work out pretty well. And then we'll take it for a quick race. Rafa, unfortunately, I can't drift for shit. I am not a drifter at all. I would love to be able to, but no, my drifts are usually stopping cars from sliding rather than intentional going sideways. Alright, so let's put the original build back on. I don't think I could get the cams on, could I? I think it took me into A class. Oh, put the first light cams on. So we see the power keeps rising there as well all the way to the end. So we're going to go with the first cams. We'll give the first cams a run. And we're on 592. Can we squeeze an exhaust on? We can indeed. So let's see how that one goes. So a little fiddle with the build. See if it makes us any quicker. I really do wish I could drift right. It's something that does quite impress me. But I just can't do it. I've tried it many times and I can't drift for shit. Alright, come on. See how we're going to go now. Still haven't upgraded the tyres back again, so we've got that back to do if we need to. Actually rev a little bit higher now, which might help my driving style. Locking the brakes up. Some heat into these fat tyres. Back end on a few of these corners will come out. Should have really made a note of lap times I was doing. Might have helped for a comparison against builds, but I'm just trying to get a car that suits my style at the moment. Feels slow around there. Yeah, it feels faster. It's just a lot more hard to control. Gear now, I've added the cams in as well. I don't think we're going to touch 6th gear at all. Turning still doesn't feel as crisp as it could be. I was watching the Top Gear the other day and it had that old Ford Mustang on it. No, it wasn't Top Gear, it was the Men and Motor show, I think it was. And it said the original Ford Mustang was a beauty to drive on a straight road, but if you took it into corners, it wasn't how it's best. But I know they used to race these, but I think as stock I don't think it was a great handling car anyway. But I'm sure if any of you guys know any better. I'm getting the hang of this. It doesn't feel too bad actually. I think what we're going to do is leave that build on because it feels a little bit better. And we're going to take a bit of the understeer out. And then we'll look at the rebound again. So we're going to actually decrease these a little bit. So we're getting a little bit of understeer as we're turning in. And hopefully that might make it turn in a little bit crisper. Remember to don't pause it in the middle of a corner. Bad place to pause it looking backwards. So right then, so we're going to knock that down a little bit, just a touch. Anti-roll boss, I'm happy with that. Actually boost that up a little bit. And then that was, we'll boost that up a little bit more, just a little bit higher than the rear. Feels a little bit better. So we're going to drop that down, back down to that line, and then we'll boost these back down as well. Feels a lot better now. I've changed gear ratios again. Look, I could have stretched them out a little bit when I did the last upgrade switch. And the cars actually feel a lot better now. Now we've got the gears dialed in a little bit. Right, so I'm happy with it on Silverstone. We'll test it on a different track. Yes, Rafa, you can make the car four-wheel drive. I'll show you the conversions. I presume you can. I wouldn't have thought you'd have to make it front-wheel drive. I know it's got a drivetrain conversion on it, but I didn't have a look. But I'm pretty sure it will be four-wheel drive as opposed to front-wheel drive. Just have a look for you. You can indeed. You can make it four-wheel drive, and I think you probably had to get it to around 1,000 brake horsepower as well. So, maybe one fast Mustang. Alright, so I'm going to test it on a different track now. And just get a good bass setting. So we're going to go with Road Atlanta. I do like Road Atlanta. It's got a bit of everything in it. Sweeping turns, fast straight. Just bear with me for 2 seconds while I do this. Yeah, it just, I don't know if you saw on that. Yeah, with wheel drive cars, I think if you go over 250 brake horsepower, you're kind of pushing it, and it becomes a bit to tune the understeer out. And I don't think I've actually done many front wheel drive cars. It's one thing I would like to do more, but I shoot it down the lower classes. I use front wheel drive. If I take it into four-wheel drive, I could remove some of the tyres, because the four-wheel drive I don't need as much tyre width, because I can use a four-wheel drive to actually gain some traction. But it actually takes into A-class as well, so I might have to lose some power on that. I don't mind front wheel drive cars. I just I don't always find front wheel drive cars, they're better off in like D and C class, and I don't do a lot of D and C class racing, so I put them in B class. With the amount of power they have, they tend to understeer quite a bit. It takes a while to tune them out, so I do like front wheel drive cars. Some of the best handling cars I've had have been front wheel drive cars. It's just I don't use them much in hoppers. Feel too bad around here actually. It feels okay. Because I don't think it's ever going to it's slowly. I don't think it's ever going to be a leaderable car. But it might be something different to use than the hoppers, which is where we're going to be heading soon. Yeah, oh cool man, you building it as well? Or is it just you're the only one chatting? It would be nice to hear from some of the other guys as well if you want to say hi. Interesting to see how many of you guys have come from my YouTube channel as well. So let me know if you're subbed. And if you are, thank you very much. And if you're not, head over there now and hit that subscribe button. No, you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm not going to force you. Right, I didn't feel too bad around there. So I'll think soon. Actually, if you've got any questions, man, feel free just to put them in there, and I'll try and answer any as best I can without going too far. Oh, hey, be monstrosities in the house. The Rock King special, would that be your special Beetle?